Okay, I have a deck of cards here, and if you were here, I would have you randomize these as much as you would like. You could do a riffle shuffle or an overhand shuffle, or you could even table wash them. Okay, and then once you're satisfied, maybe we'll do one more here. Once you're satisfied the cards are mixed, I'll take them from you in order to choose 2 prediction cards. Now, because I don't want you to see those cards right now, I'm going to go ahead and just choose them kind of off camera. And then I'll show you what I'm doing, during the tutorial, of course. You'll know exactly, what I was doing. Okay, so 2 prediction cards. Wow, I'm not feeling very good about any of these. That's the only one I feel good about. I don't know, this one's okay, I guess. Okay, so I've chosen 2 prediction cards. So we'll set them off over here so you can keep an eye on them. And now, of course, since I was doing that mixing off camera, you might suspect that the cards are being fiddled with in some way. So let's go ahead and just kind of mix these cards a bit. Okay. Oh, and in the introduction, by the way, I mentioned an overhand shuffle. And I don't think that's one that we've actually used yet. So it's a good one to be aware of. You hold the cards like this. And then what you do is you pull off clumps of cards. Now, it's a messy shuffle, meaning it's very common for cards to just go flying. And even the best of magicians will drop them. So it's not a sign of that you're bad, that shuffling or something. It's almost meant to be a messy shuffle. You can kind of see that actually here, just a big old mess. Okay, so anyway, that's called an overhand shuffle. Okay, so I've riffle shuffled 3 times and a couple of overhand shuffles. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to actually take a peek at our prediction cards here. Okay, so they're both clubs. That's kind of interesting. Both clubs. 2 and a 5. Now this next thing you're going to have to kind of watch quickly because it will happen really fast, okay? Boy, what are these? What happened there? How in the world were they able to pull those out of the deck? Maybe I actually did see the future. Maybe I did see the future. Okay, so that is the performance with where a top and bottom card and 2 prediction cards are used. And then I use something called a snap. It's called a snap glide, I think, or snap slide. Now the one I actually did in the performance was a bad one, by the way. I'm actually doing good ones now that I'm less stressed about messing up. So what I'm doing is I'm pulling the top and bottom. So what you do is you hold the top and bottom cards, and then you kind of give it a flick, and just because of the, maybe the oils on your fingers and the friction there, you're going to hold on to the top and bottom, but those middle cards are just going to slide out. Now it is true normally that as you get down to smaller and smaller packet sizes, it gets harder and harder to do because you just don't have enough momentum, I guess, or enough mass to be moving around for this flick to, well, it's still working, I guess. But I'm sure when you get down to, 3 or 4, it would be hard to do because the friction between the cards will start to approach the friction between your finger and the cards. Yeah, it's like there, you can't do it. So I call that a snap slide. So snap because you're doing it fast. Okay, so how does this one work? And that is not something that's hard to learn. In fact, quite honestly, I haven't done this in years. And I probably should have practiced before the video. So anyway, this honestly will not take you very long to get down. And even if you drop them, the fact is you have the two important cards in your hand, and in some ways it makes it even more unbelievable. It's like, how in the world did those cards go flying everywhere, and you're still holding the cards that are the companion cards to the prediction cards? So just about every outcome can be kind of spun in such a way that it's either a natural element, a natural part of the whole thing, or it actually strengthens it. So my snap glide was, in the performance, technically was terrible, but the messiness, maybe it adds to it, Okay, so how does this work? Well, you have the spectator genuinely mix the cards. Okay, so it is a randomized deck of cards. So you don't know anything about the order of the cards. Okay, and then you take the deck from them. Now it's pretty important that you take it from them, not like this. Take it, face down, and then you turn it towards you. And so what you're looking for is you're noting the identity of the top and bottom. Those will be the special cards. Okay, so you're looking for the black king somewhere in the middle, which is the king of clubs, of course, and then the red 9, which the other one is 9 of hearts. So just think black king, red 9. So and you have them, towards you. Spectator doesn't see this. So black king, red 9, black king for red 9. And if for whatever reason you don't see one of them quickly enough, you just say, wow, boy, I got one prediction card. It was just very clearly the right one, but the second one is very elusive. I'm not feeling a very strong signal as to what it should be. So yeah, you can cover your tracks there. So anyway, let me just point out, now the order of these, it doesn't matter. So I have a companion card on the bottom, companion card on the top, okay? Well, at this point, it's all a matter of, convincing the spectator perhaps that the cards are mixed. To immediately do this little glide thing would probably would give it away. So there needs to be a little bit of convincing that the cards are somewhat mixed. So to do this, you would, you just do a riffle shuffle where we want this one on the bottom, and then on the right we want this one on top, right? So make sure I didn't mess that up. So it's called retaining the top and bottom stock. And it may take a little bit of practice, but you just make sure the left hand falls first and that the right hand falls last. That's all you're doing to maintain those, the top and bottom card. So left goes first, right needs to go last. And even if you, quote, miss it, at least on the top one, like there I, quote, missed it, I need this one on top, you just kind of separate them. You just kind of separate them. And it's normally not too hard, nor does it take much fiddling to get it to go back. Oh, looks like I wasn't focused. I wasn't focused on the bottom, was I? Sorry about that. Okay, so make sure the left one falls first, and then the right one. And if for some reason the top one, kind of gets in the wrong order like that, if you just kind of separate them and make it out that the cards are like butting up against each other. Things won't come together, and so you have to move them back. And while moving it back, you correct it. You make sure it's on top. So you make sure that one's on top, this one's on bottom still, which it is. Okay, and then in addition to that, what I did, which you could, is do a couple of overhand shuffles. This is a shuffle that's worth learning. Because it can serve different sneaky purposes. But so we want this. Now, by the way, when we pull the top and bottom off, we don't care which one's on top and which one's on bottom. We we want the king and the nine of diamonds to be the two that we pull off. We don't care which one's on top or bottom, right? So what you do is you just make sure you pull off one, and then from here it doesn't matter how many until you get close to finishing the cards in your hand. And then when you start getting close, just pay attention and make sure that that last card, what was the original bottom card, goes on top. So what's happened is the king of spades, the nine of diamonds have switched places. Well, of course, if you do it again, they'll go back to where they were. So pulling off the first one and then very quickly do clumps. Most people won't even notice that you pulled off just one, nor would they even kind of think about, well, what does that mean, you know? And then down here, just make sure you just have a single card, namely that one, that goes on top, okay? And then if you're brave, you could do more riffle shuffles while retaining the bottom and top card. And then from there, you can just bring these out and say, what were the prediction cards again, you know? Whoop, I flashed it, by the way. You don't do that. Oh, that's interesting. I kind of saw the future that these cards would be you know, important to us. Okay? I don't know how. I'm not sure how they'd be important to us, but what the heck? Where do those come from? Okay, so the snap slide happens so fast they're not even sure like where those came from. I guess it's not the end of the world if they know it's the top and bottom, but in some ways maybe it's good that they don't know that. Okay, so with a little bit of practice, you can kind of get this snap slide down just fine. Don't drop the cards. By the way, this is an almost brand new deck. So you want a fairly new deck, maybe not a brand new one, but fairly new deck for this, just because you want a minimal friction between the cards. So anyway, that's a fun one to do. I don't know, it's hard to say if there's much mathematics in that one necessarily, except just keeping track of the left and right hand as you're riffle shuffling. You know, you need the one on the left to fall first, the one on the right to fall last. So the order in which those fall, well, mathematics deals with order, of course, a lot. So anyway, that is See Into the Future, kind of a quick, fun one. Now, because that's kind of a fast one, what I thought I would do is kind of give you a second way to take advantage of the fact that you might know the top and bottom card. So it's the same setup as this one here, but it doesn't require that snap little glide or slide. Okay, so some people might be a little nervous about that. So here's a way of doing this performance where it's far less scary, I guess, from a card handling point of view. Okay, so what you do is it begins the same. Spectator mixes the cards as much as they want, and then you're going to find the companion. Oh wow, companion card to that one's right there. Now I need a red 7. Okay, so I have those right now. Set that down, put these aside and say, okay, these are our prediction cards for later. Okay. Now what you can do, I suppose you could do a riffle shuffle in which you retain the top and bottom, or an overhand shuffle where you move the top to the bottom to the top. But eventually what we're going to do is, and it's something we haven't done in any of these See Into the Future, is you simply just perform a Klondike shuffle and do that until the spectator says stop. So, I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful routine here. So remember, the Klondike Shuffle is where you take the bottom and top card off as one, right? Those are our special cards. Those are the ones we're going to reveal. Isn't that nice? So you do top and bottom as one. And then, you know, you deal quite a few of these because you want quite a few. And then you say, well, tell me when to stop. You know, we can stop. You don't need to be counting anything, which is great. Maybe they say stop there. That's great. So just recall the situation we're in. We have some unknown number of cards. We do know it's even because of the pairs, and then the special cards are at the bottom. Okay. Well, if you've watched some of my other See Into the Future, we're kind of at a situation where we have finished from this point in a number of ways. Okay. So one way, of course, would just be to just deal left, right. Because those bottom two cards are going to be the last two dealt, right? So from here, it's very similar to other ones that we talk about under this heading of See Into the Future, okay? And if you recall, what we did there was we said, well, we have these prediction cards. I wonder if I really did see the future. Did I see something about what the outcome of this would be? And note here, contrast it with some of the other videos. We had a 50-50 chance, unless you were like really keeping track of things, of this matching that, or this matching, or this being paired with that, okay? Well, this time we, nailed it, which is wonderful, So now we're going to get a perfect alignment here. It's like, yes, we got it. And spectator's going to go, okay, how in the world did you just do that? But if for whatever reason we had those switched, okay, sorry, I'll just back up. Okay, so we're here now. We don't know the order here. So we show this one, and we go, oh man, that's a fail. Do you see any connection between the 7 of diamonds and the Jack of clubs? I don't. Oh, what the heck? Something's gone wrong, I guess. Oh, whoa, what's going on here? These are companion cards. Wait a second. There's no way. There is no way that is the Jack of spades. No way. I can't believe it. How did you just happen to tell me to stop shuffling to the table exactly where we needed to have this outcome? And this is from a shuffled deck, a deck that you shuffled at the beginning. You freely shuffled it. And all I did was I just chose 2 prediction cards without actually changing the order of any of the cards from when you had shuffled it. And then I did this Klondike shuffle to the table, and I said, well, you tell me when you feel like you want to stop. And I stopped exactly where you told me. And then from there, we just did left, right, because we had 2 prediction cards. I thought, well, why don't we deal out 2 piles? How in the world did it lead to this situation here? How cool is that? Do you think you could do that again? So anyway, that's another way to do it. So you can use the Klondike shuffle if the cards of interest are at the top and the bottom. Okay. So anyway, I thought I'd pair that with the Snap Glide one that I showed you, because that's such a fast one. You kind of blink and it's over. So anyway, well, thanks for watching, and take a look at some of the other ones under this heading of See Into the Future.